Thanks to the supporters of channel member All Stars SC. Well, 3 games remaining in the Premier League season. We could still qualify for the Champions League. We could still finish down in mid-table. We're in not very good form. We need to win some big matches. And those matches are not going to be easy. We're playing Manchester City at home, who are champions. Brentford away, which they're directly below us in the league. And Arsenal at home, who are much better than us as well. And our form, as mentioned, pretty rotten. We've only won 1 of our last 6 games. I think it's a bit of a long shot, but stranger things have happened. We're doing 3 matches, so let's jump straight in. It's Restes in goal, a back 4 of Baker Whiting, who we learnt in the last episode we're going to change to an inverted fullback rather than an inverted wingback. We're just too defensively rotten when he pushes forward. So Baker Whiting, Silla, Castro and Angeli, Vujacic and Zita in midfield, Fordham, Koklov and Evans behind Harley up front. It's what we know. It's what worked for the first half of the season. And regardless of what happens today, it is important we all acknowledge we're a newly promoted Premier League team who are still in with a chance of European qualification in the last couple of games of the season. So despite the fact we've been in pretty rubbish form towards the end of the season, you could argue the end of the season has been a little bit bottly. Can you really bottle Champions League qualification as a newly promoted Premier League team? And Harley's in here. He's got in behind the defenders. Oh, my word. He tries the audacious lob. He probably should have just drilled it past the goalkeeper. But that's yet another demonstration. We get them all the time of Harley's blistering pace, but questionable finishing, which it's going to hold him back. I mean, obviously, it's a skill he can learn. And hopefully he will, but he has played probably getting on for 200 matches for us at this point. Maybe not all for Blackburn, but across his, that's annoying. Across his career, he's 21 years old now, still not played for England. He has played 165 career matches, only scored 50 goals, and we're playing him as a striker in the Premier League. And he's not had the greatest season, although to be fair, 18 goal contributions from 24 matches. He's not too bad, but I don't know. Part of me still thinks he'll end up on the wing. We'll sign a really good striker and he'll be the guy who sacrifices and moves out wide. But at the moment, I would argue we don't have that really good striker. You'll all argue Higgins is the guy because he scores whenever we bring him on, and he does. But he's not a Champions League striker, is he? He's just a good Premier League striker, and we need better than that. Harley's got in again here and again. It's his finishing that lets him down. The frustrating thing is, other strikers aren't getting into those positions. They're not. Higgins doesn't get either of those chances, I don't think. He's not quick enough to get either of those chances. So Harley gets those chances because he's Harley. But then he's finishing. I've said before, and I'll no doubt say again, if we could get Higgins and Harley to have a baby, we'll sign them because they'll be ideal. Harley is in behind again. I think he's offside this time. It doesn't matter because he's missed again. 15 minutes in, he's missed 3 one-on-one opportunities with the goalkeeper. It is a problem for us, I think. They've got Haaland out here taking an indirect free kick, which is bonkers. And they're probably still going to score for it. Right, Fordham, I thought had the chance to break away. He does not. And it's City pinning us in again. I mean, City are very, very good. They've won the Premier League very comfortably. And, yeah, it's not ideal for us. Last time we played them, we tried being more defensive and they rattled loads of goals past us. This time, we're going in, playing our normal football, knowing we need to find a result somehow. And they're rattling goals past us again and again. We've seen this a lot lately. We're actually creating more chances, getting better XG, but other teams are finishing and we're not. Sigh is all I've got to say about this situation. Just a big sigh. And it is City charging forward again. And we're just a little bit toothless everywhere. It's like we've... I don't want to say we've run out of ideas, but I think with our current group of players, we've taken this group of players as far as we can. We're not looking to leave Blackburn because I think we're going to have a really good summer. We're going to bring in some more really good young players. But I think for the squad we've got now, we have reached a ceiling. And we reached it a little while ago, which is why our form has just dropped off a cliff. But fingers crossed, the youngsters get better. We bring in more good players to complement them. And we come back stronger next year to get into the Champions League or Europe of any flavour. Because I think at this point, the form we're in, we're going to finish like 9th and not get in Europe at all. Which, for the long-term development of the players and the season-to-season progression of the club, is probably the best thing. Because if we get into Europe in our second season, we've got to cope with Premier League second season syndrome and a heavy European calendar all at the same time. And that might be a bit too much for us anyway. So we might be better off finishing 9th, giving ourselves a pat on the back, not having to worry about European football next season. I'm making excuses, but not have to worry about European football next season, and be next season the year we continue to improve and push on and get into the Champions League. Fordham is having a rotten game. We'll take him off, I guess. So Fordham can come off for McRobbie, who doesn't get to play on the left very often. So we'll give him the opportunity to come on and play on the left-hand side. I mean, the two City fullbacks are so good. I don't think it makes much of a difference which one he comes up against. I think he's going to struggle against either. But Evans at least can play a full 90 today, unless he picks up a knock. He's now properly back from his injury. Right, we're taking off Harley. He's missed too many chances today. Higgins can come on for Harley. And then I think we'll also bring on Tyjon for Koklov. We'll go back Championship style again. A 2-0 defeat in isolation isn't a disaster. But when you look at the fact it drops us down to 8th, we've then got to play Brentford and Arsenal. Europe isn't happening, is it? Manchester City ruined my life. Is a sentence I've said far too many times over the last 10 years. And we're going to say it again now, because they have. This is very frustrating. They're just gliding past us. They've not even really moved out of second gear, and they're just gliding past our players. It's like we don't have a defence when they've got the ball, but when we've got the ball, we don't have an attack. Oh, right. Vujicic can come off. Evans, we don't have anyone to bring on for, so we'll take off Nzita. Tingy can come on for him. We'll swap those two around. Tingy back in midfield again. We're back here. He was our midfielder in the Championship. He came into the Premier League, dropped back in defence, lost his place in defence. He's now back in midfield. Oh, and then we've got the lag again. Maybe him in midfield is what we need. I think what we need is the likes of Harley and Vujicic and McRobbie and Angeli and Castro and all these wonder kids that we've got. We need them all to end up 3 years older with 3 years more development, and then we'll be fine. So it's a process. We're just getting them game time and experience at the moment. The problem is, poor old Higgins at 26, 27, by the time the youngsters around him are really good, he's never going to get that opportunity to play in a really good Blackburn team because he'll be too old then. Not that he was probably ever going to be good enough for the Champions League anyway, but we'll say it quietly because it upsets people. Right. I think Europe is over. We've got to have a spectacular couple of games now to bring it back to life. The other thing, of course, we're going to have to deal with this summer is there are clubs circling. For example, Barcelona and Real Madrid are both in for Gaspar Castro, who has a £33 million release clause and doesn't want to renew his contract because I guess we haven't played him enough this season, which is fair. He's only started 7 games. So we might be losing him and then having to watch him go on and become a megastar. There's no one else who's wanted by really big clubs. But there are lots of clubs hovering, looking at my boys, which isn't ideal. We're not changing the team because we don't really have anything to change it with. We need new players. One thing I have been reminded of by the media is I do have a second Castro, the Brazilian Castro, who we signed at the same time as Argentinian Castro, big Castro, little Castro, if you recall. And he's out on loan at the moment. And he's played like 8 times for Brazil. He's a regular starter for Brazil. Whereas Castro, big Castro, has only started for Argentina twice. So the better of the two Castros, little Castro, will be returning to us in the summer and could potentially slot into the the place that will be vacated by Big Castro if he goes to be fancy in Spain, which, I mean, he probably will. Who wouldn't leave Blackburn to go to Real Madrid or Barcelona? When you've got the choice of both of them at 19, and you're Argentinian as well, so you get, rather than having to carry on doing your English lessons that you're not enjoying, you can just go to Spain, speak Spanish, play for either of two of the biggest clubs in the world, earn mega money, or you can play in Blackburn in the rain and not play a lot and be known as Big Castro because it's a guy who's Brazilian who's got the same surname as you, and your manager's an idiot. I don't make it easy for these players to choose to stay, do I? I need to create the Rob Harley levels of loyalty where they'll follow me from club to club. And I don't know that I've done that with Castro just yet. I mean, in my defence, he's also not scored from a corner yet, which is the main reason we wanted a 6'5" defender in the first place. And he's not really offered us that. So I would argue I'm right, he's wrong, which is usually my argument in most situations. Little reminder, while I'm having my little Castro moment, we absolutely must win this game, and even then it might not be enough to get us into even the Conference League, but we've got to give it a good go, and Harley's got in behind again, and this time, finally, Harley finds the finish. It's 1-0 to Blackburn, and a win here sets us up very nicely for that game against Arsenal on the last day of the season, where Arsenal will have nothing to play for. They can't win the league. They're already in the Champions League. And as you can see, they're losing at home to Brighton at the moment, so they're not bothered anymore. So we could potentially win our last two games and still get into the Europa League even. That was a great ball by Koklov, by the way. If you remember at the start of the season, this is why we have to be like persistent with these young players and force them into the team even when they're not necessarily good enough, because Koklov was rubbish first half of the season. When we were good, he was rubbish. Now we're rubbish, he's actually turned out quite good, and that was a lovely ball for Harley, and that's another lovely goal, this time for Evans, and it's 2-0, and I don't know where this has come from. Just the mention of Barcelona and Real Madrid has got us playing like them. And Zita with the flick on. Evans takes it down nicely, drives it across goal. And I swear before the update, this used to update in real time. And now it doesn't. So it's utterly useless now. Does that one? We don't know because it doesn't have games. I think this one is updating in real time. Maybe. Sports Interactive giveth and Sports Interactive taketh away. Goodness me. Right, Evans skins his fullback again. Evans is having a lovely time. I mean, we probably shouldn't underestimate how important Evans has been to us. He's been a pretty much nailed on starter on that right-hand side. He's nothing spectacular. He's a loan from Leicester. He's like 26, but when we were good, he was playing. He got injured and we stopped winning. He's now fully fit again for the first time in about 6 weeks. And we're winning again, and he's putting in a man-of-the-match performance. So he's pretty important to us, I think. And I don't know that I realised how important he was until he was injured, and we were doing things like playing Higgins on the wing because we just don't have the depth out there. Right, Vujicic. That's poor from him. You got to do better than that in that kind of situation. Goodness me. Right, this is so annoying. Although it's got arrows on it. It suggests things are happening in real time. So are we 8th as it stands? I don't know. Can we get the new league table on up here? Is this the live league table? It looks like we're 8th as things stand. It says live table there. Yeah, 8th isn't going to be enough for any flavour of Europe. So we've not only got a win here, we also have got to beat Arsenal, which is a big challenge. Although we are at home for that one. Bournemouth look like they're heading for the Champions League at the expense of Spurs, which is interesting. Harley's in again, misses a big chance. Luckily, it doesn't matter so much today. I'd have been roasting him for that if it had been in another game where we desperately needed goals. But he can get away with it. When we're playing well and when we're winning and when everyone else is playing well, we can get away with him missing chances. It doesn't matter so much. That's why he gets away with it. Because I do really enjoy watching him because of that lightning pace. But I don't know, what do we do here? Do we just try and save players for Arsenal now? It's Harley with the free kick. Let's get this out of the way because he's going to stick this in the top corner. almost. Hits the crossbar. Right, we're looking for Chelsea to lose. They're currently drawing with Leicester. We could do with Leicester grabbing a goal so that we can jump back above Chelsea into what I think will likely be the Conference League spot. Right, Rivad is coming on to reassert himself in the position that was his for so very long. Fordham can come off for McRobbie. And then we're also going to take off Vujicic. Get Tingy on in there again. Get Tingy back involved. He's been a key player for as long as I've been here. Let him be a key player again. Right, where's Chelsea? Chelsea are winning. That's a problem. League table me. Chelsea winning makes European qualification for us almost impossible, I think. So I don't think eighth place will be enough. We can't catch Bournemouth. We can't catch Spurs. It's literally down to us and Chelsea. And if they win today, they're not going to have a game as hard as ours against Arsenal. Aston Villa 2, Liverpool 7 is currently going on as well. Villa are in the process of being relegated, I think. Yeah, Villa have been relegated with Forest and Ipswich. But what on earth has gone on at Villa? Villa just have weird seasons every now and again, don't they? Rob Harley is 1 goal away from a goal bonus. Should have scored it against Man City then. I'd have paid it myself. Right. We've got to beat Arsenal, and then we've got to hope that Chelsea drop points against... Am I clicking this wrong? What's going on here? The buttons were moving, weren't they? Goodness me. They're away against Newcastle. Newcastle aren't going to want to do us any favours after I stood them up, are they? I don't think we're getting into Europe, boys and girls. There's a thing that's happened. For the first time ever, Rob Harley has been called up into the England squad. And I think it's a World Cup year. Rob Harley might be going to the World Cup. Is 2036 a World Cup year? No, that's our fixtures. I don't know. What year is it now? 2026. So it's not a world. It's the Euros. He might be going to the Euros. God, that was complicated maths. Rivad wants to leave, so we're going to stick him on the transfer list. I don't think that's a huge loss. He can be sold. Right, let's go take our medicine then. Last game of the season. No changes because we won. Finally, we won a football match. Let's go and try and beat Arsenal and hope other results go our way and hope the cup competitions go our way, because even if we do manage to finish 7th, I don't think that's any guarantee of Conference League unless the cups go. Vinicius Junior is playing for Arsenal. Oh, it's going to be fine. I mean, do we really need to be worried about that? Yikes. Well, he must be old now. We're 10 years in the future. How old must Vinicius Junior be? How old must Declan Rice be in 10 years' time? He's still knocking around. Goodness me. Right, Fordham out to Evans. And now Angeli to Koklov, who's drifted out wide. Harley's in. And unfortunately, let's all say it together, Harley can't find a finish. I tell you what, for 10 years in the future, Arsenal have still got Lewis Skelly, Calafiori, Saliba, Odegaard, Rice, Nwaneri. Some of them must be getting old now. That feels like a job I could step in and do a rebuild on. I can't go and manage Arsenal again, but there's a whole load of old men to move on there. And they've finished like 12 points behind Manchester City in 3rd place. There's a job that needs to be done there as well. It's not for me, though. Harley in behind again. And once again, it's saved. We win a corner. We're not able to even justify a highlight from it. We've had 3 corners already. None of them have been good enough for highlights. What's the point of having Castro? Say it quietly. Don't want him to hear me. But I think I am going to be keeping a very close eye on him. And the moment the 2 big clubs aren't interested anymore, because the reason he doesn't want to sign is because of the interest being shown in him, presumably from Barcelona and Real Madrid. So if their names disappear from that at any point, we offer him a new contract with no release clause. Not because he's a player we desperately need to keep yet, but at 19, I guess he's obviously heading that way if Real Madrid and Barcelona are interested in him. So we probably need to nail him down as quickly as possible. It's the problem with signing the wonder kids. Sometimes the only way to get the wonder kids in is to promise them the release clause. And then you get stuck in this situation where they kind of hold you to ransom about it. We've managed to get rid of Rob Harley's release clause. But some of these other guys, Cocklow, I think, has one. Castro has one. Angeli, I don't think does. Fordham's picked up a knock there. So yeah, McRobbie can come on for him. But one of the first jobs for the summer, I think, is to assess who's got a release clause and try and get rid of as many of them as possible. Even if it means paying a bit more in salaries now, let's get rid of some of these release clauses, because hopefully after a season of proving we're not going to be getting relegated anytime soon, they're going to be less worried about having release clauses, you would like to think. Right, it is Arsenal on the attack again. Vinicius Jr., who is playing centre forward, but not able to apply the finish there. What's going on with Chelsea? I suppose that's the other thing we should be paying attention to. Chelsea are losing at Newcastle. So if we can somehow find a way to beat Arsenal, we might... In fact, as of right now, we are up to 7th. Chelsea must... Well, Chelsea are losing. We've just seen that. But obviously this league table was updated more recently than the other one. So we are currently in 7th. Oh, that's lovely. What a goal from Evans. I tell you what. Why have Leicester let us have him? Leicester are down in 12th place. Look at this turn here. That is brilliant. Well, 1-0. We're in with a real chance. Had that league table updated because it already knew we were going to score a goal? Is that what's just happened? Did we just get a spoiler? Because... Oh no, we are on 60. Okay, it wasn't a spoiler. So we're up to 61 points. We can't catch Spurs. All we can do is hope that 7th place will be enough for Conference League. I think that's the best we can hope for. But you know what? We could win the Conference League. So it's not the end of the world to be playing in it. Europe's Europe. It makes us money. It makes the players happy. And it's a chance at a trophy. And it's... I mean, we're obviously not going to win the Premier League anytime soon. But we could win the Conference League. We could win the FA Cup. There are potential for trophies for us. Martinelli is still at Arsenal as well. He's come on. That's annoying. I mean, that's just terrible defending. I don't know what Restes is doing there. Was it Baker Whiting as well? Or Silla sat back basically on the goal line? It's played into that gap between the defender and the goalkeeper. I mean, it has taken a deflection, to be fair. But someone's got to occupy that space. You can't just let the Arsenal player be the guy in the space there. Right. Substitutions, ahoy. Harley, another poor performance from him. Higgins comes on up front. And then we're also going to take off Baker Whiting, bring on Ryvad, even though he's on his way out. But I think Baker Whiting was probably at fault for the goal. I'm not convinced by him. I think that's a half-season experiment that we'll probably rectify this summer and bin him off. We are still in 7th at the moment, but an Arsenal goal would push us back down to 8th and break some hearts. Right, it is Arsenal on the attack as well. Is that Lewis Hall there as well? They've got some left-backs, haven't they? They had Lewis Skelly, Calafiori and Lewis Hall, all at Arsenal. I mean, they're all old now, but absolute madness. A whole bunch of left-backs all in one place. Right. Evans is tired. He can come off for Tyjon. And we can swap those two over. And then Angeli can come off for... We don't have anyone who can play right back. Tingy must be able to play right back. If we just have him inverting, he can be an inverted fullback. We've got inverted fullbacks on both sides. What's the harm? We're going to be very narrow. I don't think they can both invert at the same time either, because it would put 4 players into the central area, which certainly the way the match engine for FM24 was explained to me, you can't have 3 players go into that central area, so they can't both invert together. So only one of them will invert at a time anyway. Hopefully they're intelligent enough to decide which one that should be. That's asking for a lot, I suspect. Hopefully what it doesn't do is prevent either of them from doing it. We'll be fine. Let's just hope Chelsea haven't scored. It doesn't look like they have yet. I don't know how far behind they are against Newcastle. 3-2. Was that a final score or a latest score? Have we finished 7th? Get me to the official league table. I suspect we won't find out today if that's enough for Europe. There is a line that's been drawn above us. But that might be a line based on the outcome of various competitions, because obviously you've got the FA Cup still to play, the European finals still to play, and any English teams could be in any of that. If any of these teams are in any of those, I guess we'll find out when we're doing our transfers if we manage to sneak via the back door into the Conference League or not. Cross your fingers, boys and girls. 7th place, though. Great first season in the Premier League. We just have to build from there. But if you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.